I mean, it does it sideways. I thought it. I pressed too hard.
Okay. So, when we make these decisions, like if I reject HO or I fail to reject HO, none of that is certainty. It's all like probability. So if your p-value is really small, you reject HO, but there's still that really small probability that HO actually was correct. Like we're pretty darn sure at that point, but there's still mistakes. And you can make a mistake either way. You can reject H naught when it turns out in the end you really shouldn't have. That's called type 1 error. Or you could fail to reject H naught. They should have rejected it. They can go either way. So it's type 1 and type 2. I don't think either one of them by themselves are difficult. The hard part is keeping track of which is which. So I wrote out like 3 different ways that people kind of think about it on there. What I think about is type 1 means 1 is true. So if you think about HO as the first thing or the 1, and HA as the second thing or the 2, type 1 means 1 is true, but you made an error. So you actually thought the second one was true. So HO turned out to be true, but you didn't say it that way. You thought HA was true. Is this making any sense?
Yes.
Yeah. It is? Okay. You guys are looking at me like I'm speaking different language. Alright, so type 2 is where the second one, that HA is actually true, but you screwed up and you didn't say it was true. So, that can go either way. So, let's just look, so turn it over. Let's say, so this is HO, you go to a jury trial. HO is innocent. HA is guilty. So that's basically our justice system, right? We kind of start off assuming you're innocent, and then you got to prove to me that you're guilty. You got to be pretty darn sure to reject an innocent claim and get to a guilty claim. So a type 1 error, in this case, so what they will ask you on the AP test is what is the error and what are the consequences of that? So you describe the error and then you say like, okay, what happens as a result of that? So type 1 error would be 1. That makes sense what I'm saying, like 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 is actually true, but that's not what I decided. I decided this one. So type 1 error would be that we said someone was guilty when really they were innocent. And then the consequences of that, you just gotta say like, what does that mean in a real life situation? So that would be, we put a guilty person in jail. Or sorry, we put an innocent person in jail. Yeah. Guilty people, I guess, too. What's happening over here? Unbelievable. But yet not. Does that make some sense?
Yes, sir.
Questions on that one? Like that direction, I guess? That area. So type 2 would be the opposite. Type 2 is where the second thing is the true one. So the person actually is guilty, but we didn't decide that. We said innocent. So we said innocent when really they were guilty. So what's the consequence there? Like, what's the real world ramifications of that? Guilty person got set free. If this were like an ethics class, we could spend an hour arguing over which one of those is worse, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Or you're going to be a guilty person. We won't make errors, though. So, type 1 error, so these are all the same. It's just I'm trying to give you kind of 3 different ways to think about it. So some people do this, you think ha, but it's ho. This is, you think ho, but it's ha, so they'll write out like ha-ho, ho-ha. And this doesn't work for me, but I'm just giving you. So they'll remember it like, this is what I thought, this is what happened, and that's type 1. This is what I thought, but that's what happened, and that's type 2. That way it doesn't make any sense to me. It does not work for my brain, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't work for yours. Is the point. So I'm just giving you 3 different ways to think about it and find the one that works best for you. I think that one's the easiest, but that's also because I'm the one in my brain, so you guys might think different ones are easy. Does it make sense what they each are, though? It's just a matter of keeping track which is which. Alright, so read through this example, and I want you to try it. If you don't want to write it yet, because you want to make sure what you're writing is correct, that's fine. You can just try it in your head, and then I'll write down stuff. Right. Right. So I guess it takes at least greater than. Okay over there, Kenneth?
Yeah, going great, honestly.
What happened?
Something
New Jersey?
Oh, it's coming off the
Yeah, good.
just washed it yesterday, so it's kind of sad.
I mean, you can wash it again, but it's not ruined.
Yeah. Well, you can't really see it now because I got the roof.
Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah, that's why I said everything was going great.
It sounded sarcastic, that's what happened.
It kind of was.
Turned into serious.
Are you sure it wasn't like sincere? It just sounded sarcastic like yesterday.
I don't know. Drew was not sincere. That was such a smart ass comment.
Charge, or is that like if they are impeached, they are out of office?
They're out of office. No, they can't. They're still technically there. You have to then have another trial. I think
What's that called? What's the next step?
it's weird, but it's like
I didn't know that.
called.
So impeach just takes strips you of your powers.
Yeah, and you have another one to see if you're actually going to be kicked out.
Once you're stripped of your powers, though, what's the point of you?
It's really weird.
Really? There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
But we haven't
This
actually,
AP was history.
we haven't actually impeached the president.
Yeah, which is
Have we?
Oh.
I thought he resigned for.
Clinton was impeached, wasn't he? Like they tried to.
I feel like they tried to impeach a few different presidents.
So I've read that on Twitter, but I think it's from people that are in charge.
I don't know if it's great.
Yeah, I don't either. We need to call who's U.S. history. Well, Ian.
Oh yeah, I know.
Any
I think
push?
he still gets money, even if he's impeached. But if he actually gets impeached the second time, you don't get any benefits.
Oh, then you're just fired.
Yeah.
All right. So type 1 error. So I look at this as the 1 and the 2. Type 1 error is the 1 is the true one, but we thought the other one. So a type 1 error. So I probably should have done this with you instead of telling you to do it because it's different than the last one because there's math. Type 1 error is you like state what the number issue is, and then you state the consequence of that in the problem. So you would say, we thought P was greater than 0.75, but it turns out later it really wasn't. So what did we do as a result of that? Since we thought the percentage was higher, what would that cause us to do? So we impeached, and we shouldn't have. Let's try to keep my political thoughts private. Okay, well, type 2B. So type 2 would be we thought. So 2 is actually correct if it's type 2 error. So we thought the percentage was, and so you kind of got to be a little flexible with the equal sign because there's other options too, right? It could be greater than 0.75, it could be equal to, or couldn't it be less? So if 2 is true, if the proportion really is greater than 0.75, we didn't necessarily have to think that it was equal to make the mistake. We could have thought it was less to make the mistake also. Does that make sense what I'm getting at? So you can write either. So you can say like we thought the proportion was 0.75, but it was really greater. Or you could say we thought it was less than 0.75, but it was really greater. So this kind of represents less than or equal to in this situation because it has to represent like the complete opposite of this one. But you could just say equal and you're fine. I'm just going to explain it a little more. So you can say we thought. Grab the T up here in my word thought. We thought. P equals 0.75, but it turns out it was greater than 0.75. So what happened as a result? We didn't impeach, but it turns out we should have. Questions on yeah? This one? Like that? I like it. So you can put a less than there, you can put an equal to, you can put a less than or equal to. Those are all good. Other questions? Alright, real quick, you can read through this if you want. I've got, I think, 6 different multiple choice AP tests. I have never seen a question on alpha or beta, ever. They say it's in the curriculum, but I've never seen a question on it. I'm not going to spend any time on it. If you would like to read through it, on the off chance that it comes up, independent study that stuff if you want to. I'm just not going to worry about it. So, at some point, if they throw it on there, like I'm willing to take the L just to save the couple days it would take, and we'll spend the time on other stuff. I don't think it'll be on there. But wait, don't turn the page yet. Because power is on there. Power is like, this alpha beta power stuff could be like a semester college class. Like that's how in depth you can get into it. And they try to like brush the surface of it, but to me it's like you shouldn't even bother because you're skimming so thin. But the question they will consistently ask about power is how do you increase power? And the answer from all the ones I've ever seen is increased sample size. And that, I think, if you just think about that, like, kind of logically, doesn't it make sense that the more data we have, the more powerful our information is? So if you just think about it that way, how do I make something more powerful? Well, I take more data. That's, like, the main thing I want you to remember. And I think that's kind of common sense-y, right? Maybe. You want your test, if you want your information to be more powerful, like if I'm going to try to make a case to someone, is it more powerful if I present that case with, look, here's 5 people that think this, or here's 5,000 people that think this? It's more powerful with 5,000. So that's just the general thing I want you to remember. Depends who the people are, I guess. Do these 3. There's 5. I'm going to make you do 3. I'll make 2 of them optional. But I want you to do 3 in front of me so we can check them. I can make sure you're good. I'll provide the answers to the other 2. Oh, I already did number 1, didn't I?
It's one of the ones I'm doing.
I guess so.
What way do you do it?
You guys beat the system.